The once stable friendship between the United States and Canada has erupted into crisis. What was once a model of cross-border cooperation and trust has now been shattered, sending shockwaves through both nations. President Donald Trump, angered by a Canadian ad that he saw as a personal slight, abruptly announced a sweeping 10% tariff on all Canadian goods while en route to the ASEAN summit. The announcement caught both governments and global markets off guard, sparking immediate concern and confusion. This wasn't about trade policy, it was personal, triggered by a perceived insult that stoked Trump's notorious temper. The move was less about economics and more about sending a message, escalating tensions to a new level. Canadian industries, already battered by existing tariffs, now face an existential threat. Factories are bracing for layoffs and business leaders warn of a looming economic downturn that could ripple across the country. Trump's public outbursts have shut down any hope of quick reconciliation, turning the summit into a stage for confrontation, not cooperation. Diplomatic channels have gone silent, and allies are left scrambling to respond to the chaos. For Canada, whose economy is deeply tied to the US, the stakes couldn't be higher. Every day, billions of dollars in trade and thousands of jobs hang in the balance, with uncertainty clouding the future. The fallout from this impulsive move could reshape North America's economic future, forcing Canada to seek new allies as its oldest partner becomes its most unpredictable rival. As the dust settles, both countries must now navigate a new era of uncertainty and mistrust. The spark for this crisis? A single, seemingly innocuous TV ad from Ontario aired during the World Series, quoting Ronald Reagan's anti-tariff message. The ad, designed to capture the attention of millions of American viewers, was bold and direct, using the power of nostalgia and a famous American president's words to make its point. It was a calculated move, hoping to sway public opinion south of the border at a critical moment. Intended to sway American opinion, the ad instead infuriated President Trump, who saw it as a direct attack and foreign interference. The message, rather than opening doors, slammed them shut. Trump's reaction was swift and emotional, interpreting the ad as a challenge to his authority and a provocation from a foreign government. Despite Ontario's promise to pull the ad, Trump immediately cut off trade talks and accused Canada of meddling in a pending Supreme Court case on tariffs. The diplomatic fallout was immediate, with both sides scrambling to control the narrative and limit the damage. What began as a provincial PR campaign spiraled into an international incident, giving Trump ammunition to escalate the trade war. The story dominated headlines, fueling tensions and uncertainty in both countries. The gamble backfired. Rather than building support, it handed Trump a clear antagonist and a rallying cry. The ad became a symbol, used by Trump to rally his base and justify a tougher stance on trade. This episode shows the risks when local politics collide with international diplomacy. A single misstep can have far-reaching effects, straining relationships and complicating negotiations. Rather than opening dialogue, the ad triggered a full-blown economic conflict. Businesses on both sides of the border felt the impact as uncertainty rippled through markets and supply chains. Canada's attempt to win hearts and minds ended up hardening the White House's resolve. The diplomatic chill deepened, making future cooperation even more difficult. The result, a political miscalculation with global consequences, reminding us how quickly a single decision can reshape international relations. Canada's economy is built on its trade with the US. Over 75% of exports head south. This deep integration has fueled prosperity, but now it's a glaring vulnerability. Trump's tariffs have already battered key sectors like steel and energy. A new blanket tariff would hit nearly every Canadian industry. Companies face a grim choice: absorb the cost or pass it to US consumers and risk losing business. Small businesses in particular may not survive. The pain isn't one-sided. US firms relying on Canadian goods will see costs rise, and consumers will pay more. The uncertainty around the US-Canada-Mexico agreement only adds to the instability. When the world's largest trading partnership fractures, the shockwaves are felt on both sides of the border. With US relations in freefall and the once unshakable partnership between Ottawa and Washington now deeply strained, Canada faces a crossroads. The world is watching as old alliances fracture and new opportunities emerge on the global stage. Prime Minister Mark Carney is pivoting east, embarking on a bold journey to redefine Canada's place in the world. His eyes are set on Asia, where economic dynamism and innovation are reshaping the future. At the ASEAN summit in Kuala Lumpur, a city buzzing with anticipation and hope, Carney steps onto the world stage with a clear mission. Carney is focused on forging new trade ties with Asia's booming economies, seeking partners who share Canada's vision for prosperity and stability. His goal: nothing less than a comprehensive free trade agreement with the 10-nation ASEAN bloc, a region of immense potential and promise, representing over 650 million people, each one a potential partner in Canada's new economic chapter. Carney's message is clear. While the U.S. turns inward, closing doors and building barriers, Canada is open for business. He's meeting leaders, negotiating deals, and laying the groundwork for a new era of cooperation. Carney is positioning Canada as a reliable partner in a region hungry for growth, innovation, and stability. This isn't a reactionary move, nor a fleeting gesture to fill a void, but a strategic shift to diversify Canada's economic future, ensuring resilience in an unpredictable world. The old certainties of the U.S.-Canada relationship are gone, replaced by a new reality that demands adaptability and vision. Carney's pivot is about survival and growth in a world where relying on one partner is no longer an option. Canada must chart its own course. The summit marks the first step in a historic reorientation, one that could define Canada's future for generations to come. Canada's building new bridges, not walls. Quiet diplomacy, not confrontation, is the new way forward. This is Carney's answer to Trump's fury, a calm, determined vision for Canada's place in a changing world. Carney's trip is the public launch of a bold national strategy: double Canada's non-US exports within a decade. The ASEAN Free Trade Deal is the cornerstone, opening doors to vast new markets. Canada is also leveraging existing agreements like the CPTPP, connecting with Japan, Vietnam, and Singapore. The plan: promote Canadian industries abroad, lead trade missions, and help businesses break into Asia. Diversification is now a national security imperative, not just smart economics. Instead of a tariff war, Carney is building a coalition of partners committed to open trade. The vision transformed Canada from a continental partner to a truly global player, more resilient, independent, and secure. The ASEAN summit has become a stage for diplomatic freeze. President Trump publicly snubbed Prime Minister Carney, refusing any meeting, a hostile gesture that signals a breakdown in top-level communication. Carney, meanwhile, stays focused on solutions and new partnerships, avoiding personal attacks. Trump's move personalizes the conflict, making reconciliation even harder. Legal battles over tariffs add another layer of complexity, with the Supreme Court set to rule on Trump's authority. The Ontario ad controversy now ties the diplomatic spat directly to U.S. domestic politics. With traditional channels broken, there's no clear path out of the crisis. The two leaders share a city, but their nations are drifting further apart. The trade war's impact is felt far beyond politics. Canadian factory workers face layoffs as exports become pricier. American businesses and consumers see costs rise. Supply chains built over decades are disrupted, hurting both economies. Tourism suffers too. Fewer Canadians are visiting the U.S., hurting local businesses. The once seamless flow of people and goods is breaking down. Canada's pivot to Asia signals a permanent shift. North America's economic landscape is changing. If the rift continues, Canada may become more integrated with Asia, less with its southern neighbor. The choices made today will shape the continent's future for decades to come.